Before we get started with the Sales Integrity Podcast, if you haven't already signed up for our free video email course titled 7 Steps to Master the Game of Complex Technical Selling, then you'll want to do so right away. If you're listening on your phone, then simply text the word SI course to the number 44222 or visit mastercomplexsales.com. Again, text the word SI as in sales integrity, so SI course, which is all one word with no spacing at all, to the number 44222 or visit mastercomplexsales.com. Now let's get started with the podcast. Hello, sales achievers. Welcome to the Sales Integrity Podcast. I'm Sean Pickett, founder and CEO of Sales Integrity, a sales coaching services provider, and also the founder of my coach site, a coaching enablement software provider. This podcast is all about helping sales professionals, leaders, and organizations with a complex technical B2B sale to increase sales and earn more money, period. Today is Tuesday, and that can only mean one thing here on the Sales Integrity Podcast. It's Technique Tuesday. Each Tuesday, I will teach you one technique you can immediately apply to your sales game. Many of them I'll draw from our Sales Achievement Framework selling system, which includes the use of social selling techniques and other more unconventional methods. So get ready to translate the ideas you hear today into actionable tasks you can execute in the real world of selling tomorrow. Now, without further ado, let's get today's episode rocking and rolling. Hello, sales achievers. Welcome to today's episode of the Sales Integrity Podcast. Today is Technique Tuesday, and our topic is the 6 core competencies of top sales achievers. You can look at this essentially as part 2 of a 2-part podcast series, with part 1 occurring yesterday during the Mindset Monday episode. If you haven't listened to yesterday's episode, you should definitely go back and do so. That episode is titled, Make Your Sales Pop to Achieve Your Goals. To quickly summarize, yesterday we reviewed the mindset of 2 completely different types of salespeople. First, common salespeople who struggle, and second, top-performing sales achievers who dominate. I walked through a study conducted by my firm on both types of sales professionals to determine what sets them apart. Furthermore, I shared the top 3 habits of quota-crushing sales achievers, with one of the habits identified as the keystone habit that will most affect your success or failure as a sales professional. Finally, I talked about the mindset mantra that will help keep these 3 habits top of mind on a daily basis, which is really the make your sales pop approach to achieving sales success. So given that yesterday we discussed mindset, which is really about preparation, today we will discuss execution as part of the equation in the part 2 of this podcast series. You see, in our study, not only did we evaluate the mindset and identify the top 3 habits of the sales achievers, we also uncovered exactly how they prepared differently, and more important, how they operated differently than their underperforming peers. What we uncovered were 6 core competencies, or 6 things top sales achievers do differently and in an organized manner as it relates to creating and executing their plan to achieve their goals. We call these the 6 core competencies of top sales achievers, and furthermore labeled them as the 6 T's of sales achievement within our Sales Achievement Framework selling system. Those 6 T's are as follows: target market, tangible benefits, talk tracks, tactical planning, tempo control, and touch points. Let's break each one down just a bit further. First, target market. Sales achievers know exactly who their ideal customers are, and they don't waste time chasing prospects that don't meet their predetermined criteria of an ideal target market customer. Second, tangible benefits. Once sales achievers clearly define their target market customers, they go on to understand the tangible benefits their customers are seeking through careful research. The resulting benefit of that exercise is mapping their products, services, and solutions to the customer's stated challenges, issues, and goals. Third, talk tracks. Sales achievers take the time to translate those tangible benefits into talk tracks that replicate the most common buyer-seller dialogues they engage in on a consistent basis, so they are prepared to have meaningful conversations when they arise in their various forms, whether phone calls, emails, in-mails, meetings, or otherwise. Fourth, tactical planning. Sales achievers narrow the focus to 3 strategies, otherwise known as 3 sales pipeline development campaigns, that they will focus on for the next 3 months, otherwise known as a quarterly basis. They then think through, what effort is needed to put in for setting up, executing, and tracking each campaign. They then only focus on the high impact tasks and activities that contribute towards achieving their goal for each campaign. Fifth, tempo control. Sales achievers then convert those high impact campaign tasks and activities into what's known as blocks of time that they add to their calendar. They adhere to their calendar religiously for establishing the right tempo and weekly sales cadence to accomplish everything they need to get done to achieve their sales pipeline development goals. In 6, touch points. Finally, after adding each campaign's tasks to their calendar as blocks of time, sales achievers methodically execute those tasks in the form of touch points to connect with and contact prospects and customers at the right pace each week, month, and quarter. Furthermore, sales achievers have a system in place for tracking all of these touch points to make sure they don't drop the ball and are following up and following through on a consistent weekly basis. So that's it. The 6 T's of sales achievement, which are, again, target market, tangible benefits, talk tracks, tactical planning, tempo control, and touch points. As an action item, you should create a quarterly sales plan and include these 6 core competencies as the focal point for creating such a plan. You should then identify 3 target market customer contact groups, such as CIOs, CFOs, or COOs, of 3 different specific industries, such as the insurance industry, the energy industry, the technology industry, etc. And then follow the process outlined in this podcast for methodically setting up, executing, and tracking the success of each sales pipeline development campaign. Now, I just gave you a few examples there. You can pick the titles, but it should be a specific title or role that you're calling on, and you should call on all the same types of roles or reach out to all the same types of roles, depending on what your actual strategies are, whether outbound calling, cold calling, or social selling, leveraging LinkedIn, or otherwise. So there's a variety of campaigns, strategic networking, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to determine what are the campaigns, who am I going to reach out to, and really narrow the focus so you can get your messaging down and get in a consistent flow for reaching out to each of these folks with well prepared, well researched, and very customized and targeted messaging. So in closing, the above 6 core competencies seem simple and straightforward. However, we found through our research that common salespeople who struggle are winging it, flying by the seat of their pants, and severely mismanaging their time. And it's because they're not applying a disciplined approach, such as what was discussed during today's podcast. As mentioned on a previous Mindset Monday episode, sales professionals should see themselves as a funded entrepreneur within a company who operates their own business. If that's the case, then the 6 T's of sales achievement can and should provide sales achievers with a distinct competitive advantage over their peers who do not operate with such discipline. All right, sales achievers, that'll do it for today's Technique Tuesday episode. Now let's close out today's episode with a few quick reminders. First, we recently launched 2 new B2B tech sales professional groups, one on LinkedIn and one on Facebook. Just search for B2B tech sales professionals on either LinkedIn or Facebook, or both if you want to join both groups, and join the conversation with your peers there. Second, if you haven't already subscribed to our free 7-day video email course titled 7 Steps to Master the Game of Complex Technical Selling, then you will definitely want to do so right away. You can do so by visiting mastercomplexsales.com or by texting the word SI course to the number 44222. Again, visit mastercomplexsales.com or text the word SI as in sales integrity. So SI course, all one word with no spacing. If you put a space between SI and course, you'll get an error message back. So make sure it's all one word, SI course, and text that to the number 44222. After subscribing, we will send you your first lesson via email right away, and then one lesson a day for the next 7 days. Third, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud. Just search for the Sales Integrity Podcast with Sean Pickett, and it should pop up and allow you to subscribe on one of those two channels. After you subscribe, please provide a quick 5-star rating and a 1 to 2 sentence review to help others find the show. We are going to be published on Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and eventually iHeartRadio and other channels. However, we are a brand new podcast. This is week 2 here. So we're not on those channels just yet, but bear with us. We're going to get there soon, and we'll let you know what we do. And finally, please share the podcast with your colleagues and friends who would find it relevant. You can do so by going to salesintegrity.com and click the Sales Integrity Podcast menu link at the top of the page. All of the podcasts are there, and it provides you a way to click a button and share any episode, whether via email to individuals or if you want to blast it out to social media, there's some buttons on there as well if you're so inclined. And we would appreciate that. So that will do it for today's episode. Now go out there in the sales world today and help your prospects and customers buy what they want, what they need, and what benefits them. And most importantly, go out there and make it a great day.